Hey everyone, and thanks for watching another video of ours. So today, doing something a bit different. Just wanted to basically explain a bit of fitness terminology and perhaps a bit of a glossary. We've had some clients send in some terms that they've seen or they've heard used in different fitness scenarios that they want explained to them and that they potentially don't understand the meaning of or don't know how to apply it to their training. So today we're going to cover off on just 10 different terms that we've had sent in to us that people are finding that they're seeing a lot but perhaps not understanding the best. So the first one is progressive overload. So this relates to a training, and it's a concept of gradually increasing the difficulty or intensity of your workouts over time. So this should be the goal of your training gradually over time, is progressive overload. It's basically the process of just overloading your body in a way that will see basically long-term adaptation. So this can be done through increased duration, increased intensity, increased repetitions, increased sets, decreased rest breaks, increased exercise complexity, increased weights. There's a number of ways that you can ensure progressive overload, but basically the best way to think of it is just making your training sessions more difficult over time. The second one is plateau. So this just refers to a period of stalled progress. It can come about for many reasons. Can just be your body's stopped adapting due to your training being too similar and not changing over time. So this relates heavily to progressive overload. Plateaus can often be overcome by using those principles in progressive overload to change your training over time. The third term, compound lift. So this is something we speak about a lot. Basically just means any exercise that's a multi-joint movement. So these exercises will work across multiple groups at once. So you're looking at utilizing multiple muscles and multiple joints across these. So examples are like squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, stuff like that. So anything that's working across multiple joints and working multiple muscles is known as a compound movement. One of the ones that we've had asked as the class that we run is metabolic conditioning, which are just high intensity workouts that are aimed at elevating your heart rate and increasing your metabolism for an increased calorie burn over time. So there's different types of Metcon workouts, high intensity, Tabata, basically any sort of high intensity workout with the aim of increasing heart rate to burn calories can be considered a metabolic conditioning workout. The fifth one is macros or macronutrients. So these are just the main categories of nutrients that your body needs to sustain itself. So macronutrients are your largest nutrient groups. They fall into carbohydrates, protein, fat. Alcohol can also be considered a macronutrient, but it's not really something we discuss when we're talking about nutrition plans. Obviously, they are your three main groups: carbohydrates being your breads, grains, and stuff like that; proteins being your lean meats, dairies, beans, nuts; fats being nuts, avocado, fish, and stuff like that. So that's what those refer to. Whereas your micronutrients, which is another term we've been asked about, is your vitamins and minerals. So this is the more specific nutrients that your body needs in a much smaller amount than your macronutrients. Obviously, there is multiple different vitamins and minerals, but they all fall under micronutrients. So another one, rest and recovery. So as we discussed in the last video, we often get asked about recovery because there's different types, being passive recovery and active recovery. But the overall goal of rest and recovery is to let your body recover from an intense training session, injury, illness, and stuff like that until it's back at an optimal level that you can function again. One that we got asked about is we often use the words form over weight. So this just means using proper exercise technique before increasing the weight. So you want to make sure you're using the right muscles and conducting the exercise in the right way before increasing the weight of an exercise. There's no point going and lifting massively heavily if you're not doing the exercise correctly. There are some examples that fall outside this, like we'll often say that if your form slightly drops off in your last few reps of a set, that's okay, especially if you're going to failure, as long as you're still doing it at a safe way and engaging the muscles that we want. One that we hear a lot, we don't really like to use, we describe it in different ways, but it's the mind-muscle connection. This is just focusing on the muscles that you're meant to be using during a movement. There is some research behind that. Actively thinking about which muscles are being used can actually help you activate those muscles and ensure you're getting the movement done correctly. Mind muscle connection is not really a term we use, but we do emphasize that focusing and making sure you understand what muscles each exercise should be using. And the final one is individual or specificity training, which just involves that your training should be specific to your goals, sport, or event. So runners should be doing exercises and activities that are going to make them better at running if that's their goal. If you want to run a marathon, there's no point training similar to an AFL footballer because that's not their goal. So these are what you should be focusing on for your specific goals. All of your training should have a focus on either your goal, what event you're preparing for, or what sport you play. So these are just 10 terms that we've been asked about. If you've got any more, post them below, and we'll do another video like this in the future, just with the most commonly asked about ones. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our videos to see the future ones.